You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's time for us to do the Wrestling Nerdcast. And as usual, I'm your host, the Worldwide Grand Prix Champion, the AIWF Mega Heavyweight Champion, the IWC North Carolina Heavyweight Champion, the Southern Gentleman, the Disrespectful Intellectual, the Mid-Atlantic Bully, the Morning Star, the Incredible Huck, Real Huckabee. And as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, the lover of waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, the receiver of all things unsolicited, and, you know, a bunch of other nicknames. She's one half of the world's cutest commentary team, and she's like an abductor of affection, or whatever the hell that means. You can catch it not only on this show, but also on the FOW podcast on podbean.com. It's my homie, my co-host, my homegirl, Mika Villas. What's up, Mika?
I swear, if you didn't love me, I would think that you hated me. Nye, what's up with you? I'm good.
What do you mean?
Another Tuesday
what do you
night.
mean? I give you a...
No. Shut up.
No. That was a great intro.
That was an excellent intro. I'm sorry. I'm just excited and traumatized from my wrestling week.
It has been. I will give it to you. It has been a wrestling month. Let's put it like that. The last 21 days has been, for lack of a better word, very topsy-turvy when it comes to not only my life or your life, but for professional wrestling in general. But we'll get to all of that stuff. But first, we have to talk to the man behind the boards, the guy that doesn't speak a whole lot. You know, our producer, the man, the myth, the legend, C-Dub. What's going on, man?
I am chilling.
Why do you sound like that, C? What is the reason for you sound so happy and cheerful and perky?
Because I'm a happy, cheerful, perky person at the moment.
Oh my God. I don't know what I'm seeing right now. And I think if I recorded it, it would be, like, illegal. But I'm scared and intrigued all at the same time. My God. Just
don't. Don't look into the light, all right? Don't look into the light. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, this podcast is brought to you courtesy of the Angry Marks podcast. Want to give a huge shout out before we say anything else to our sponsor, Indie Customs. This week, make sure that you go on Indie Customs, whether you find them on Facebook and or on Twitter. Make sure you look at their Ed Zone exclusive pre-sale, designed by It's a Work Photography and Design. You know, send all the prepaid T-shirt orders. You know, go to paypal.me/Indie Customs. I'm actually going to pre-order this shirt. I love that shirt. I don't know if you got a chance to see it yet, Mika. But the front of the shirt says, "Life is fake, wrestling is real." And then on the back of it says, you know, "Life is the work, death is the finish." Like, I actually like that shirt, and I don't really actually buy too many wrestling T-shirts. Usually I just go to somebody's gimmick table and I'm like, "Yo, let me get a shirt to rock." And usually, you know, they just give me a shirt. But I'm actually going to buy that shirt, not only because you know, Indie Customs supports us, but also because I actually like that shirt, and I like the person whose shirt it is.
I've seen the shirt. I did not see the back of the shirt. I kind of like that death is the finish, so that is pretty cool. And the wonderful thing about it being an Indie Customs shirt, I'm not sure. I know it's all black, but maybe, just maybe, your girl could get one in pink or red, because that's what kind of quality merchandise that Indie Customs does. Miss Kim is wonderful. There's a variety of colors. If that whole, you know, death thing is a little bit too much for you, you can get an Indie Customs logo t-shirt. When I tell you that there is a rainbow of colors, there's a rainbow of colors. There's this nice pink and white one that I got my eye on that I'm going to have to pick up really, really soon. So definitely check out our sponsor, Indie Customs. Good people, quality merchandise. You will be extremely pleased. You don't have to get those shirts we talked about. If you're creative, you can make your own. That's the lovely wonderfulness of Indie Customs, guys.
Yeah, and once again, like I said, like, support indie wrestling, support Indie Customs. unlike a lot of companies, a lot of t-shirt or merchandise companies who say, "Oh, come check out our sponsored athletes or our sponsored podcasts or these people that we sponsor," and usually their sponsorship just consists of, hey, here's an actual code to put on your order, and we'll give you a discount, like a 10% discount. Indie Customs actually gives back to professional wrestling. When they say they have a sponsored athlete, like, they are 100% behind you. Right now, we here at the Wrestling Nerdcast, we're brainstorming, trying to come up with like the perfect design for, our first ever like t-shirt or whatever, like podcast t-shirt. We've had several ideas. Eventually we're just gonna like put it online and just let you people, the fans and listeners, decide which design you like best, and that's the one we're gonna really bring out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, with that being said, this past weekend, good weekend, cold weekend here in the Southeast. Mika, how was your weekend?
First and foremost, it freaking snowed in Atlanta, which means the world as Atlanta or Atlanteans know it shut the hell down. It was horrible. There was about 6 to 7 inches of snow in places. I literally opened my door, saw a blanket of snow in the forest behind my place, and said, "Screw this, I'm going back to sleep." So as Atlanta burned in the dewy whiteness and coldness of snow, I slept for a little bit, but when I, awoke from my slumber, I put on my big bro pants and layered up, and I went out to wrestling. I checked out 2 shows this weekend. 2 shows. Both of them were awesome shows. First and foremost, I checked out in Thompson, Georgia, Viral Pro Wrestling. If you follow me on social media, you'll see some of my shout outs, but I just have to especially mention Mr. William K., who hooked your girl up, because really I was scared to go out because, again, Atlanta have a history of not being prepared for inclement weather. I didn't know what the roads were going to look like going out to Thompson, but I made it there alive. William couldn't make it, so I was graced with hanging out with his family, his wife and kids. They were awesome. Joseph Brown from Suplexes and Microphones was also hosting your girl. Those guys and girls out there at Viral Pro, they put on a hell of a show. Main event was Chris Main, somebody friend of the show, who is the Viral Pro champion, taking on Chip effing Day for the Viral Pro Heavyweight Championship. Chris Main retained his title, and the circumstances leading up to that were all very calculated, questionable, and just not like Chris Main. If you get a chance to go back and watch the show when they put it out, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But Chris Main has changed. He has shed his kind of good guy persona, and he is now just he's doing things that are just evil, quite frankly, and calculated. I spoke to him online. We had a conversation, and maybe an argument about his actions, and it escalated from there, where Viral Pro, I believe owners, presidents, PJ, got involved and said some stuff to Chris. So Viral Pro, their next show is February, I want to say the 10th. That's going to be really interesting to see how Chris Main is dealt with for his actions. I also checked out a premiere show at the famous Landmark Arena in Cornelia, Georgia. And I say famous Landmark Arena because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you ever get to come to this area in Georgia, you need to get to Landmark Arena. There has been so much history. Huckabee can just run down a list, but truly and really, there's been so much history in this one little place that any show that's there, you want to get in there and just to say that you walked into a living, breathing piece of wrestling history here in the Southeast. That night, it was Sunday night, there was, like I said, a premiere show for One Fall Power Wrestling Company. The head, the guy calling the shots and in charge that evening, was none other than WCW's own Glacier. Glacier was in the building, and he, welcomed everybody to the show. They recorded it for tape. But not only did we have Glacier, but Curryman. I get to see Curryman live and in person do his little dance, do his little thing. He went against Elijah Evans the fourth in the main event of that show. Lots of talent on that show. Lots of guys and girls who attended a seminar at the QT Marshall School down here, and I saw some amazing talent. There are some people who are definitely still developing, still coming up on their skills, but for the most part, it was a really solid show. A little cold again here in Georgia, but they kept that place rocking hot. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do as their future goes onward, as they put on shows. I believe they're going to do shows on Thursday nights, which goes kind of head to head with another wrestling school here in the area on Thursday nights. WWA 4 training school goes Thursday nights as well. So we'll see what happens on Thursday nights when we've got Atlanta entrenched in wrestling on every side of the city pretty much. That was my weekend.
You know what? I'm gonna say, like, I've seen a couple of the guys and stuff that was at both shows. Know a lot of guys that was at both shows. Heard some great things. This weekend was kind of a chill weekend for me. I just had one show. Was at TWE in Chattanooga, Georgia. Like, if you haven't been to the new building for TWE, they have a great setup. It's a lot better than the old building. It's a lot more state of the art. It's set up like a small arena. When you go to a wrestling show and stuff, like, you can tell when companies put money into their company and stuff, and they really try to up the production value. And TWE has done a great job of upping the production value. I think I told you in a phone call and stuff. I was telling you about the show and stuff while you were at the One Fall Power Wrestling show and stuff Sunday. That I think that would be a great venue for Scenic City to have their trios tournament. I know that the actual Scenic City Invitation is a really big show with like 400 or 500 people. You can't put that many people in there, but you can fit about 200, maybe 300 people inside this building. It'd be very hot, very uncomfortable for a lot of fans, but you definitely fit 200 people in there easily. So I'm thinking, like, if I was Scenic City, the powers that be at Scenic City, I would talk to TWE and talk to them and say, hey, look, let us rent your venue for our trios tournament. It'd be good for you, it'd be good for us, et cetera, et cetera. As cold as it was, I'm gonna tell you the truth, as cold as it was in Atlanta, it was just as cold in Chattanooga, trust and believe. And not only that, but it was windy, because I was at the top of a mountain, all mountains on every side, driving up and down those mountains. Like, it was just ungodly cold for somebody like me who is used to living on the beach, where on Christmas time I'm wearing like a tank top and shorts and stuff. Like, I'm not used to that type of weather. That's the reason why I don't live in the Midwest. That's the reason why I don't live up north, because I don't like the snow. I don't like the cold. Something else, I'm gonna tell you what, like, Mika, I'm gonna tell you this right here. Like, something that actually stuck out for me this weekend. On the ride home, and a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people that's in this business, and even you, Mika, when you're riding back to these shows, you got the radio playing, whatever. Everybody has their own type of music they want to listen to. I took a chance. I actually took time and stuff to listen to a friend of the show, Sugar D. He has his own podcast called Funny Cash. Funny Cash Shows? Once again, is brought to you on the Podbean podcast app and stuff. Funny Cash Shows. He has 4 episodes. Listen to all 4. Just kind of binge listen to all 4 of them this past weekend and stuff. During my travels. Super funny, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to Sugar D. Like, you can tell he took a lot of time in doing his podcast and putting it together. Not really a wrestling podcast, more like a life podcast. He tells you funny stories about life and, giving you a positive message. As Sugar D, like I say, always, he's keeping a PMA, positive mental attitude. The 4th episode was really interesting. He told us a great story about him and Jimmy Jacobs, an amazing plane ride that kind of changed both their lives. you just gotta listen to it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put it like that. If you get a chance during the week or whatever, while after you listen to this show, go to Podbean, look up Funny Cast Shows. I think he has on that. He has on iTunes. He has on YouTube and stuff. Check out Funny Cast Shows. My homeboy Sugar D. Give him a listen. I guarantee you're gonna laugh. Like, because you know Sugar D. You know what I'm saying? He's a funny dude anyway. So you can imagine how funny he is when you just give him a microphone. Hello, Vika? Did I lose you?
Sorry, yeah, I was just laughing, but I had turned the volume down because you're right. Suge is hilarious. I've listened to the first 3 shows, so I'm looking forward to show number 4, getting a chance to listen to it because I do want to hear about Jimmy Jacobs and Suge D. Those two together, they sound like the odd couple, but I'm sure it was amazing. So absolutely, positively, I wholeheartedly endorse that as well. Suge D is a great person. He also, you need to follow him on Facebook, on his social media, on his Twitter. Suge D just won the new South Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, and in his speech, he touched upon a subject that's kind of a hot button right now about basically respecting women. And I don't want to get into that whole thing right now because we're going to, talk to our guests. But Suge is doing something that I think that basically, like he said, puts his money where his mouth is. Suge is donating proceeds from his bookings to make awareness for situations in what women go through every day. So again, I don't want to make this a heavy thing right now. We can get into that later, but Suge is not only a funny person, he's also one genuine, caring individual, not just about women, but about people in general. And that's kind of a rarity. I've come across in my short little stint here, people are sort of out for themselves in this business and just kind of in life. Most people look out for number one. Suge is literally looking out for the entire planet, for the world, for people, because he's that kind of person. And that's just an amazing, rare thing to come across. So every endeavor that he is in, I want everyone to support him because you want to see people do good, and it's even better to see a good person doing good for everybody.
Well, with that being said, speaking about good people doing good things for everybody, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest is going to be super great. We have a great show lined up, a great guest lined up. Let's go ahead and get him on the line, if you don't mind, TW. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I was telling you, we have a great show lined up tonight. We have a great guest. Tonight's guest brings a great, I guess to paraphrase a famous line, behind every good man, there's a good woman, or an even greater woman. This guy is the embodiment of that phrase. Like, behind him is a great woman. Without him, there would be no Indie Customs. Without him, there would be no soon-to-be Wrestling Nerdcast T-shirt coming out on Indie Customs. Tonight's guest is probably one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever been around. He is the forgotten member of the infamous whipped cream spot in the Softcore Cup. This dude, he was sleazy before Joey Ryan ever thought about being sleazy. Trust and believe, ladies and gentlemen, he is the epitome of creep, but he is also the idolater of chic. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest, Mr. Sleaze. What's going on, man?
I was grabbing dicks way before Joey Ryan was getting his dick grabbed.
Exactly. That's something I was going to talk about. Like, you having grabbing dicks and being sleazy way before Joey Ryan ever thought about it. So, like, he should go ahead and kick some of that Pornhub money back to you, shouldn't he?
Like, seriously, I know he's trying to corner the market in Sleaze, but, I told everybody that, there definitely somewhere down the road needs to be a Sleaze versus Sleaze.
I don't think the world is ready for that, man. I mean, let's just go ahead and jump into it. I mean, I don't think the world's ready for that, especially, when we saw, this past August, with the Softcore Cup down at IWA Deep South, the infamous whipped cream spot. it's so weird that like White Mike, who's a friend of the show and also is an indie custom sponsored athlete and stuff, he got all like the notoriety and the fame for that spot, and everybody forgets that like you were a part of that spot too. You were in the match. You actually held the butt cheeks open for White Mike to motivate the booty.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I know it's been some time past, and it's like beating a dead dog. But what people need to understand is just there were numerous people in that match, not just Effie and White Mike. There was Brad, the blow-up doll with the 6-inch dick. There was Mr. Sleaze, who puts people in wheelbarrows, pulls the pants down, and presents the groceries that are fed on the table for White Mike to put his mouth on.
Exactly. You bring home the groceries that White Mike eats.
He wheelbarrowed the groceries. Oh my god.
Yeah, like I mean, I legitimately served those bitches up on a silver platter for this man.
Kind of going through history, please, because say that again.
Where's my wheelbarrow shirts? I need to start selling wheelbarrows. I mean, he's doing whipped cream shots. I'm just gonna ride people around on wheelbarrows.
There you go.
See, look, man. Now, when you start wheelbarrowing people around at shows and stuff, we want a small donation here to the wrestling Nerdcast for helping you come up with that idea.
I just don't want you touching anybody's ass unless they say, "Go ahead and open up the groceries." Then hey, open season, so to speak. Other than that, that's an awesome idea.
See, and it was like all wrestling. Things were discussed, and things happened that night that I never thought in a million years would happen to me. But we talked about it in the back. It came down to Tom, and I'm like, is he really about to do this? And I'm like, all right, I guess if I serve it up to him, he's got to do it. So we set up for that spot, and Jim Cornette still hasn't attacked anybody. So I mean, I guess we're still good.
Well, you know what, man? Talk about you and being involved in like controversial or funny or hilarious things. The first time I heard of Mr. Sleaze, which we officially met like a little over a year ago, in Hickory, North Carolina, but I've known about you for a while because of some work you had done with a known and notorious company called $5 Wrestling. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Mr. Sleaze. And I will admit that the only reason why I watch $5 Wrestling is because I'm a huge Freight Train fan. Anybody that knows me personally knows that I love Freight Train. Without a doubt, he's one of my favorite, like top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time is Freight Train. I don't give a shit. Anybody that like it, you can fight me. But I saw your match against Radio Rock, and I thought I don't know if you were intentionally trying to be funny, or if that was just your gimmick, but like it was something about you. I was like, yo, this guy with like the hairy chest and the baby oil and like he looks like he has a van with free candy on the side. Like this guy's hilarious.
And man, you can't tell people about my van, dog. That's not right. It's hidden under some brush in the woods right now. You don't talk about that shit, man. I told you about that.
Okay, I will leave the van out of it. But tell us about your time. How did you end up being a part of $5 Wrestling? Where's your feelings about it? Any memories about $5 Wrestling? Et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so the $5 Wrestling thing happened out of the most random thing ever. WrestleCade about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, WrestleCade threw this contest, and it was basically, hey, put your video online. The fans are going to vote. Whoever wins this is going to get a spot on the show, and they're also going to get $500 and be the first ever WrestleCade idol. Well, I had put my video in. I was like, well, let's try this. Let's see what happens here. And I lost so many Facebook friends and Twitter friends. I don't have a Twitter anymore, but I shared every day, probably 20 times a day, like, hey, go vote for me, go check this out. Mainly because I needed the money because it's Christmas, getting close to Christmas. I wanted to win this money so I could, provide a great Christmas for my daughter. And it took off, and I was beating the number 2 person at the time was probably 150 votes behind me. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a guy named Freight Train pops up. And I'm like, who the hell is Freight Train at this time? Because I really didn't know. And I started looking it up, and I was like, oh, shit. That's all I could think about it. I was like, oh, shit. And it comes down to the last week of the contest, and now Freight Train's got the second place, and he's still 150 votes behind. I'm still pushing, and all of a sudden, within 3 days, he's already caught me, and now we're neck and neck, going at it against each other. And it came down to the last day, and he beat me by 5 votes. And I was so mad at the world because the match that you would get on the FanFest show was like you would tag with Richie Steamboat versus Stro and Scott Hall, Cody Hall. And I was like, son of a bitch, this was my opportunity. I've lost. I was so mad. And then all of a sudden I got a message, and they're like, hey, you lost. And I was like, yeah, I know I lost. And they're like, but you're on the show, but we need you to do something. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we need you to cut a promo and shoot on Freight Train. I was like, okay, why? And they're like, because basically Richie had an injury and couldn't make it. So they're like, we're going to put you in a tag match against Stro, and you're going to tag with Cody, and you're going to go against Stro and Freight Train. So without a hesitation, I put the phone up, and I started cutting a promo, and I'm just being an absolute asshole, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm doing the Freight Train voice. I'm like, I hope everybody gets to do what they want. And like, at the end of that promo, I said to the guy at the promo, I said, hey, you talked to Freight Train and Jake Manning about this, right? And he's like, not yet. I said, oh shit, they're gonna think I'm really fucking mad at this guy. And I'm like, after hearing Freight Train's story and stuff like that, I was like, I don't want to be mean to this guy. I was like, this guy seems like the coolest guy ever. And like, I finally sent Jake Manning a message. I was like, hey Jake, I want you to know what I was told to do, and it's up. And he's like, no, it's fine. There's money to be made from this. And I was like, okay, because at this time they're doing the storyline with Jake Manning and Freight Train, where basically Jake Manning's trying to shut down $5 Wrestling and kill $5 Wrestling. And I just so happened to get into this mix somehow. And so the day comes, and it's supposed to be Freight Train, Stro, me, and Cody. Cody shows up super duper late after the FanFest show was over, and I ended up tagging with Jake Manning, which was awesome. If you don't know who Jake Manning is, that's Man Scout Jake Manning, Scout's Honor. And we had a tag match against Stro and Freight Train, and I loved every minute of it. And I got to see Freight Train shoot on Jake the Snake Roberts, which was amazing. Like, he lost his mind during that FanFest.
What?
Yes. See, I guess Stro and Jake are friends, and like Jake Roberts came by the ring and was taunting Stro, and Freight Train lost his mind and was like, "You need to get off the coke, Jake. You need to quit doing that. It's bad for your liver." And like Jake's like, "Hey man, do something." I was like, "What do you want me to do? I don't know what to do." I was like, "I don't know how to stop this. I'm enjoying this though." And like after the match, Jake the Snake Roberts jumped in the ring. Uncalled, didn't call it at all, so I immediately jumped down because I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going into a DDT that I don't know is coming. Even though after the whole thing, I was like, I should have stayed. But basically, we ended up having to get Freight Train out of there because, like, Jake kicked him in the nuts. Jake the Snake kicked him in the nuts twice. And, yeah, it was an exciting day. And then, basically after that, the next day was Freight Train's Christmas party, show. And they're like, hey, we're going to have you go against Freight Train at this show the day after, WrestleCade. And I did not know what I was walking into, guys. I want everybody to understand. I did not know. I walked in and saw Terry Houston. I was like, I've heard of Terry Houston. I've heard of the man named Dynamite, but I'd never noticed how much of a diva he was. And, you know, after I did my match with him, and I was like, I have to keep working here. Like, everybody shoots on $5 Wrestling and said it was horrible, but I saw more, like, heart from these guys than I've seen from any other wrestler I've been around in a locker room. Like, these guys loved what they were doing. And the people that were, like, talking bad about it, it just made me want to be there more, because I was like, this is where I got to be. So
I tell you what, man, I loved $5 Wrestling. Being a wrestler, like, you know, I feel like there's something for everybody. You know, you got your serious technical wrestlers, you got your bruisers, your death matches, your brawlers and stuff. It's like, and then you need the comedy and stuff too. Like, sometimes you just want to laugh. And I thought $5 Wrestling was amazing. I enjoyed it. Like, every time I got a chance to watch the show, I did.
Oh yeah. And the thing is how many people can honestly go, hey, I've had Colt Cabana commentate my matches. You know, I love Colt Cabana. I love Marty DeRosa. I love those two guys. Like, anytime I see Marty, I'm like, all right, I know that I'm going to be around where Marty is on a show. I just get uber giddy about it. So, and it's awesome that I can go up to Colt and be like, what's up, Colt? And he's like, hey, Sleaze. Not a lot of people can do that. Like, there's a lot of people in the Indies that's probably never met Colt Cabana.
Okay, I've never met Colt Cabana. Have you ever met Colt Cabana, Mika?
He doesn't know who I am. I mean, I paid like whatever amount of money for a meet and greet, so yes, I have actually.
Hey,
well, I tell you what.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't have to pay for those meetings.
That makes me feel even worse. Now I feel like a real whore. Thanks. No, I'm kidding.
No. Next time he's around, I'll take you up there and I'll introduce you and I'll say, hey, this is my friend. And then, hey, there's $5 you don't have to pay to get a hay from it.
And that's $5. I'm buying you lunch. There we go. See?
Yes. We're getting McDonald's.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network, sponsored by IndieCast. We're talking to indie wrestler Mr. Sleaze. And speaking about $5 and speaking about food, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, the lover of waffles herself, Miss Mika Villas. Mika, what do you have for our guest tonight?
I'm so glad, first and foremost, you went with the food thing and not the whore thing, because I was just waiting on you to jump all over that. Hi, Sleaze.
What up, boo?
Let's get down. We brought up food, and since
let's get down to business, are we about to have a sing off right now? Are we gonna do some Mulan?
Okay. You just totally changed my question.
You don't even know what Mulan is. This is bad.
Wait, are we talking Mulan the movie Disney, or are you talking something totally different that I should look up on the internet and then be scared?
Well, you've got to think about it. If you think about when you search Mulan Bukkake Party.
Oh!
Really interesting stuff.
Jesus.
Hey, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that we don't have a rating.
All right, so my face is red and not white, but damn, okay. I was going to ask you because I am, I don't even know how to come back from that shit.
Not many people do.
God, this is me taking the glasses off.
Take them off,
girl. For somebody who is not as familiar like Huckabee is with Mr. Sleaze, I am a newer fan of yours. Tell me and all the rest of the people who are going to fall in love with you, especially after hearing Mulan Bukkake Party. What is Sleaze all about? What is Mr. Sleaze? Excuse me. Let me give you your proper respect. Mr. Sleaze all about. As I fan myself down over here. Jesus.
Well, see, you're gonna laugh because I'm actually gonna give you the backstory of Sleaze in general. Like, okay. A lot of people don't know that I haven't always been Sleaze. I've been numerous different gimmicks before I found this amazing gimmick. So I started in 2008 with a old school wrestling company that taught old school wrestling, and my first gimmick they ever gave me was Big EZ from Louisiana, which, if anybody's ever met me, I don't look anything Cajun. I don't like crawfish. I don't like none of that shit. So immediately I was like, this gimmick's not going to work. I told the promoter, I was like, I don't want to do this gimmick. I don't want to do this gimmick. So then I was like, let me do this monster gimmick. Somebody at 5'11" should not be doing a monster gimmick, apparently. And I was a little bit shorter then. So I went through a lot of shitty gimmicks, and then I started calling myself the future of wrestling, Eric Thompson. And I did a seminar, and at this time I'm doing baby oil. I'm still looking about like I do now, but I'm doing baby oil, calling myself the future of wrestling, and I do a Robbie E seminar. If you don't know who Robbie E is, he used to be on TNA. He might still be on TNA. I don't know. Or it's Impact. I don't know what they call that shit now.
We know Robbie E. He likes to no-show shows. But go ahead. No.
There we go.
Who said that?
There we go. Damn, shots fired already. Damn.
That's Huckabee's fault. He gets me all crazy.
I thought it was me. I thought I got you all hot and bothered already.
Well, I'm hot and bothered. He's got me crazy. This is a weird threesome. Continue. Robbie E's seminar.
Okay. All right. So basically, Robbie tells me in the seminar, he's like, hey, I want you to get your gimmick over without saying anything, just your body movements. So I start, and I pour the baby oil on me. I started rubbing my chest. He goes, stop. He's like, are you the future of wrestling or a sleazy porn star? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, by the show tonight, you need to pick one. So I got in the locker room, and I had probably about a good 5 hours before the show. And I'm sitting back there, and I'm like, can I do a sleazy porn star? And then I started thinking about my personality and who I am and everything. And I was like, I could just ramp myself up by 1,000,000 and be this sleaze gimmick. And from that day on, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to be this sleazy, creepy son of a bitch that, parents want to hide their daughters from, but the mothers want to get in the sheets with. And, I'm like, hey, hide your daughters, hide your husbands, because I'm taking everybody's wife. That's basically how it was. And, I started living the sleaze life. And at one point, it got to the point where I was like, I don't know who I am anymore. Am I sleaze? Am I my regular self? I don't know what to do. I couldn't cut it off. And, sleaze is an embodiment. I used to have shirts that said Team Sleaze, and I'd had people come up to me and they're like, what is sleaze? What is sleaze? And I'm like, it's you. Be yourself, I want people to be sleazy. Sleaze doesn't have to be this creep ball porn star guy. If your parents just are disappointed in you, be sleazy. If you lose your job or your boss is a dickhead, be sleazy to him. I don't know. It's just a way of life to me. I like to have fun. I like to be the center of attention. I like to joke around. I like to rub on my body. And sometimes I like to grab a little handful of, hey, girl, you still there?
I was imagining the grabbing. I'm sorry. I'm getting so distracted.
I bet you were.
Let's talk.
Huck, we might have to put this on tape and just have people, lonely women driving the car to my voice going, hey, girl, you like that? Hotter.
I can't even. Oh my God. Okay, wait.
You want to book me? Bedroom party? Let's go.
Oh God.
By the way, I'm not going to say that my fiance might be sitting beside me, looking at me some certain type of way.
Hi, Kim.
You
I'm
understand.
sorry.
She understands, though. When I get in this style, she loves me more.
Oh gosh, she has to
I
love
just
you
sold
more.
5 shirts. I just sold 5 shirts.
You
'Cause I
sold
took my
15
shirt
shirts.
off.
There you go.
I took my nip out.
So
Oh, girl, calm down.
I
Drink some
can't.
water. Or some
That
orange juice, one of the two.
orange juice and water mix. That's where we're going here. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about the freedom of sleaze and the ball grabbing. What kind of reactions do you get from like people who's never seen you before and after the show come up to you? What is that impression? Because I'm pretty sure
Well,
there is just
so here's the best explanation ever for this. Okay, so we'll go back to Alabama. So we're in Alabama, me and White Mike, and we are the life of the party before this show starts. We're dancing, women are dancing on us, guys are just having a blast talking to us, fans are just all into us. And then the match happens. And then immediately after this match happens, every guy, and well, the girls kind of stayed the same, but every guy that was cool with us, now we're like, you guys are fucking faggots. You fucking homos, get out of Alabama. I'm like, whoa, man. It's 2017, guys. You know, if you want to eat whipped cream or grab on some nut sacks or have hot wax dripped on your naked chest or put a dildo in your mouth, you know, it's your right.
so you're saying Alabama is not as progressive as some of the places that you've been.
Oh, no, I'm going to let you know. A lot of places are like that. Like, I still get, like, a lot of people are like, oh, man, that was awesome. Then I got a lot of people that go, oh, that really wasn't family friendly, and I don't know if I can book this anymore. But you know what? I tell everybody when they book Sleaze, you're going to get it one or two ways. You're going to get it straight or you're going to get it dirty. Either way, I'm getting mine.
Okay. Speaking of getting yours, I know Huckabee Huckabee likes to get his, is what somebody told me. I have no personal knowledge of the situation. If Huckabee's still there, he might be having his own kind of party. I'm gonna let him talk to you a little bit while I cool down here a little bit. I may have to take my pants off. It's that kind of hot.
Don't leave me, girl.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Will Huckabee, joined by Mickey Villas for the Wrestling Nerdcast, brought to you by the AngryMarks podcast and sponsored by Indie Customs. Once again, check them out on Facebook and on Twitter at Indie Customs. We're talking tonight to Indie Customs sponsored athletes, Mr. Sleaze. Now, let's get to some new current things, please, because you're starting to pop up all over the place, man. Like, I was so happy when you finally got a shot at AWE down in Atlanta. I love the fact that, you know, you've made your PWX debut. You're starting to get, you know, you're starting to get some notoriety. You're starting to get noticed and stuff. What do you have to say to people who say that you are, quote unquote, overnight celebrity, like you just popped up out of the blue?
I'll say, hey, check my resume because, like, yeah, I took some time off. I needed to find myself. I needed to go through a depression so I could come back to everybody and unleash what I've been holding in for that time that I was away. And, you know, I'm not where exactly I want to be. I have hit some goals this year. But next year, 2018 is going to be fucking phenomenal. Like, I can't tell you how phenomenal next year is going to be. Like, I've gotten the true blessing of facing some amazing talent this year. And I still have 2 shows left this year. I still have, December 22nd, which is, Action Pack Wrestling in Chester, South Carolina. And I'm not on the show, that I know of yet, but I will be at, show of the year in Atlanta, because I'm coming to that.
I'm about to say, look, why would you not be at AWE's show of the year? Why would you not be on the card? I mean, they got to, of course, we know one of AWE's mainstay matches is a Battle Royal. Are you trying to tell me that AWE is not going to get Sleazy for show of the year?
Let me put it to you like this. If there's a Battle Royal, there's some nuts to be grabbed. And I'm more than happy to take somebody's nuts and shove their ass over the top rope and prove to everybody that I deserve to be in AWE as a mainstay.
I will second and third that if I have a vote. I don't, but and there's
Hey, girl,
also
all I need you to do is when you talk on that mic, when you're doing that commentary, you just think of me and this voice.
my
And you just
God.
you put me over so much that people listen to this thing and they're in the middle of another match and you're just going, oh God, that Sleaze though.
And Lord knows they'll hear me in every portion of Marietta Event Hall while I do that. So you got it, no problem. I totally, as hot as it is right now, it'll be hotter December 27th. So,
I just want you
yeah.
to know I'm gonna be up on that catwalk looking down. So low cut shirts.
Oh, Jesus.
Apparently you've met me, so yeah.
Well, see, get back to the important questions and stuff, man, because I follow you on social media. Obviously, I follow Kim on social media as well and stuff, man. But I gotta know a question. When Sleaze is in the car and Sleaze is doing the driving, what's on the radio, Sleaze? What are you listening to?
Oh, this is about to get real good. Well, at this time, I am a huge Christmas fan. Not that anybody has not sent me gifts, because they haven't sent me any gifts, you assholes. But I love Christmas music, but most of the time when I'm getting tired and I'm about to pass out on the drive home, I don't know if I should say this, but it's kind of dirty. It's real dirty. I like to get down to Disney music. Like, Sleaze is all about that Disney music.
Is that why Mulan got dirty?
Mulan's been dirty, okay? You know, me and her, Disney World, Bukkake Party. It's on Pornhub.
I didn't even know that, Sleaze. Like,
hey, look, this is something that Kim will tell you, and I've told her this in the past. I said, you know, if this wrestling thing didn't work out, there were two other jobs that I wanted. There was two jobs that I wanted if this didn't work out, and you know, I think they could have went hand in hand, but you know, hopefully my retirement is coming soon so I can make these a reality. But I wanted to work at Disney World, and I wanted to be a porn star, just so I could dress like Mickey Mouse and bang all the princesses.
Oh my God.
Well, Sleaze, why don't you just be a Disney-themed porn star? And you can be Dickie Mouse.
Yeah.
You can be Dickie Mouse.
Yeah. Hey, babe, you want to dress up like Belle tonight?
Oh my God.
I'll be your Prince Eric tonight, girl.
Oh my goodness. Look, you are something
Look,
else,
I'm trying
man.
to be the Customs podcast, okay? I got to do something.
No, that's not even that. Okay, because of course you keep mentioning her name. Let's talk about Kim, because she's already been a guest for the show. She's already talked to us about how influential you were to the creation of Indie Customs. And you just mentioned how you've had your own bouts with depression and stuff. To you, was it very important for her to keep going on with Indie Customs, or did you just really get tired of making your own shirts and you was like, the hell with it, I'm gonna pawn this off on her because, you know, I'm tired of this shit already.
Well, see, here's the thing, is, for people that don't know Kim, she is very detail-oriented. She does not let anything that looks like trash go out. And when I first had this idea, it was strictly about me. It was, hey, I told her, I was like, hey, babe, I want to buy a shirt press and everything I need to start making my own shirts because I'm tired of companies basically raping me on prices. And I was like, if I make my own stuff, it's profit. It's all profit for me. I mean, and I don't have to go through anybody else. And I even told her I had some of the craziest ideas at first. I was like, I'm going to have Sleazewear. I'm just going to name my company Sleazewear, and I'm just going to have nothing but Sleazewear brand all over the clothes. And she's like, that's fucking stupid. And I was like, okay. So I tried to sit down and make my very first shirt. She immediately tosses me out of the chair and is like, I got this. And poof, she starts off making my shirts. People are asking her, hey, will you make me shirts? She says no. I look at her like she's a fucking moron and say, hey, start making people shirts. You can make money and you can help people. Because my whole thing about when we started this is I wanted us to have a company that was being a Bubba to the wrestling business. Just like all the guys are Bubbas in the locker room, I wanted us to help people out. I help the wrestlers out to the point where if you think about it, and this is something that we talked about earlier this week, is I was like, people will say, oh, well, you're not really sponsoring people because they're having to pay for your stuff. First off, I'm not, and I'm probably going to get slapped a few times here, so just go with me. I'm not collar and elbow. I'm not charging anybody $35 for a collar and elbow shirt and a discount code that they can
Shots fired.
Their own shit.
Shots fired.
That's not me. What we do is we say, hey, if you're a sponsored guy, we're going to make you shirts. You're going to put them up for pre-order. And those pre-orders pay for the little bit of money that it costs to make the shirt, and then you're making profit back. You're not spending your own money on the shirts, So in detail, they're making their own money by how they present their shirts and how they push their shirts. So they're not paying us for shit out of pocket unless they have something that they're like, hey, we really want this. And we don't want to do pre-orders, but we want this. Then, hey, they're spending bare minimum, probably at cost, to get that. They're not getting rimmed or anything like that. And we are not going to ever, ever, ever give out a discount code. I swear to God, if we give out a discount code, it's going to be lick Sleaze's balls for 15 cents off.
Well, I can tell you're very passionate about it, man.
Like I hate. Hugsby, why you got to bring this up, man? But like, we are a company legitimately about the wrestlers. We're not saying, hey, here's Indie Custom. Here's this Indie Custom shirt. We're going to give it to you. You're going to sell it, and we're making all the profit of it. No, we're making custom shirts for each one of our people.
Here's why I brought it up. Here's why I brought it up, because all three of us were at WrestleCade this past year. And with the exception of, I think maybe 3, possibly 4, of the Indie Custom sponsored athletes, like everybody was there. As a business owner, as one of the boys and stuff, what was it? Did you have an immense sense of pride that everybody that was sponsored by the company was wearing their shirts?
Oh yes, believe me. And and I want you to understand that at no point was planned for our guys to meet up and have our stuff on. We didn't send them a memo out saying, hey, wear your stuff or you're getting unsponsored. We didn't do any of that. Our people that we have under our brand are proud to wear that brand. They're proud to show it off. We're proud of everyone that's a part of us. We treat each other like family. That's the big thing. Like, we have a lot of people that send requests to be sponsored by us. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's a family. Would you want to be bringing in a piece of shit to your family?
Well, I mean, my family already has pieces of shit involved in it, so we don't need any more.
I understand, and see how we are a diverse Indie Customs family. Like, we have me, the sleazy one. We have Jim Nasty, the nasty sons of bitches. We have you as the crazy, I might fucking be in jail next week. We have your partner.
Well, hold on. Why do I have to be the one that might be in jail?
Let's be honest. That's the truth. It is not next week. It's in the next 5 minutes. He just telling the truth.
I want you to understand. And you see your partner right there. She's the one that's liable to have her pants down in sticky situations. But, that's what we need her for. We need her there to be like, hey, still supporting it. Here I am. But,
pants down.
Those indie customs underwear. That's right. I'll be pants down, showing off the product. There we go.
Don't worry. I will have you a pair of underwear the next show. That's how that's going to go. But no, on the real though, okay, I have to tell you some stuff, Matt. So this is why I say that you'd be the one that ends up in jail. Because I was at Viral this past weekend, and during the hierarchies match, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to one of our fellow sponsored athletes, Mr. Joe Black himself. And there was a point where Murder was about to jump over the barricade and attack a fan. And I looked at Joe Black and I said, you know, the bad thing is if that would have been Huck would have been in handcuffs already, because he would have jumped the rail and ended up being in handcuffs. He's like, and he would have probably said, hey, man, the fan touched me. He's like, and that's why you're in handcuffs.
Okay, I would take that. Yes, I've been known. Huh?
You don't take shit from nobody, and that's what we love about you, Matt. And you're very entertaining to be around.
Well, so, speaking of entertaining, Sleaze, I'm going to pass it back one last time to the self-claimed sponsored athlete podcaster who will probably have her pants down. My co-host, Rika Villas.
This is so off the rails right now. I don't even know how to get my pants back up, one, and this back on track, two. Yeah, it's suddenly hot in here again. So
welcome
speaking,
back.
Thank you. I was here the whole time. I guess I was having my inner Sleaze out, sitting in the corner, just watching and rocking back and forth. I don't know if that's sleazy or stalky, but I digress.
Hey, all I know is it sounds kind of dirty.
Oh my gosh. This is amazing right now. My face is laughing and hurting. So let's get back to some serious business here. You put out a list on your social media of guys that you want to be in the ring with. And that's a pretty damn good list of independent wrestlers, some names that I know, some names that we all should know. But let's flip the script. I didn't see a female on that list. You scared of the girl, Sleaze? Or can you not? I mean, we don't have balls for you to grab. So what's the deal? Let's talk about this.
Well, let's put it like this. I wanted to put females on the list, but at the same time, you know, I really do want to face some females. One of my idols when I got into the business was Andy Kaufman. If you don't know who Andy Kaufman is, definitely look him up. He was the guy that said no woman could beat me, and he just had intergender matches the whole time. And you know, there's quite a few women in this business that I really want to face, and I'll name a few right now. I want to face Kiera Hogan. I want to face Stu Young. I want to face Camilla Kane. I want to face Savannah Evans. You know, I just want to get in the ring and get rough and rowdy with some ladies. You know, but at the same time, I saw Kiera Hogan slap Slade Porter, and I still flinch anytime I'm around her now. The end of that poor man's career. We know he's over. He's done. I heard he couldn't even talk recently, so you know.
Yeah,
shout out to that shooter.
Yeah, that was one hell of a slap. You know, I'm not booking these things, but there is a woman that comes to mind that I would personally kind of like to see go one-on-one with Mr. Sleaze. Miss Ronnie Nicole and Mr. Sleaze.
No, that's happened before. That's already happened.
What? Okay, yeah. Where is that out there someplace, or do we need a part two or part two?
It's online, and it has happened, and just like it sounds, she beat the ever-loving shit out of me.
Me too, Sleaze. Huh? Me too. I had a match with her in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, like 3-4 years ago, and yeah, she beat the piss out of me.
Like it was, and this is pre-Japan days. This is before she started going over to Japan. And, that's why I'm glad to have her on the team now, because now I don't have to, I can be like, hey, girl, we friends. Don't hurt me. But, I legitimately, it's online. If you look up Ronnie Nicole versus Mr. Sleaze, it is online. It was done in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Tremont Music Hall for Fireball's Grindhouse show. Me and her, basically, I wanted to measure out that match. I was like, I don't know how, I know all the women are like, hey, you better hit me. You better hit me. But I wanted to judge how hard I was going to go on her. So I let her give the first blow. And immediately I was like, okay, this is now becoming a really physical fight. And she is, let's just say she won. And I cried a little bit afterwards. If you watch the match, you'll understand. It's probably one of the highest videos that have been put up for me for a while, because I think it was at 3,000 views, but it was very painful.
Okay.
But I would
Not that I want to.
I'd do it again.
I don't want to bask in your pain, but it sounds like something I'm definitely gonna have to check out and maybe cheer her on a little bit for girl power and all that lovely stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, is that what happens? I talk dirty to you and you want my pain?
I could be a little sadist. I don't know. Wait, no, let's go back to other good things. Talk about,
Okay.
things like, other than, I don't know what to do with you right now. What do you do for fun? What is, when you're not being totally sleazy, what's a kickback thing that you just, that's your thing, that's your jam? Other than Pornhub.
You like to know what I like to do when I'm not wrestling?
When you're not wrestling, when you're at kickback at home or out and about.
My fiance.
Oh God. I didn't mean actually. Words. I've lost them. Congratulations. You have made me speechless. It's a very rare thing that happens, but damn you just did it. What do you do for fun outside of the stuff?
Outside of the bedroom, what I do for fun is I wrestle. I'm a bartender. I like to spend time with my kids. I like to watch wrestling. I have a really dull life other than wrestling and being in that bedroom. I help Indie Customs make things, which, by the way, there's a lot of shirts that I can tell you that I just dislike. There's certain days that I just really dislike the company, where I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just gonna let you do it.
You're just like, I don't want to do it. So no, I'm looking at TV shows outside of wrestling, or matter of fact, we'll stick with
TV shows. Okay. And that'll never happen. I'm not a Grey's Anatomy fan. I do.
What? Grey's Anatomy is a joint.
No, it's not. I don't watch it.
Huck. You and Kim can have.
He watches it with me.
Oh, busted!
Hey, babe, woman, you're not here right now. Why are you unzipping my zipper?
Oh, what Jesus?
I'm doing work.
You're about to do work.
Working.
She's doing work right now, if you know what I mean.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I like, there's a new show that I've been watching, The Good Doctor, about the doctor that has autism. It is phenomenal. I love it. I think everybody should check it out. It's a very good show. I have The Walking Dead. I love watching that. Do you watch The Walking Dead?
Of course, anybody who is human should be watching The Walking Dead.
Did you watch Sunday's episode, girl? Oh my
No,
God.
so I'm behind, but I know that something happened to Carl. His ass finally was off the porch or something. I don't know. Yeah, I know that was like season.
Girl, you're like 5 seasons.
No. I'm kidding about the porch thing. Right. Carl, stay your ass on the porch. If Carl was black, whole different zombie apocalypse. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Man, I honestly, now I kind of want to see the new Walking Dead, just like the black version. I think that'd be cool. Like, I really want to see
It would be like 2 episodes. I'm telling you, Sleaze. That we wake up, realize everybody is zombies, and we're like, nope, we're leaving.
Can I tell you, I think it is very offensive when I go to, like, movies and stuff like that, that all these white people are like, hey, I'm going to walk through this door where something loud's happening. Black guys in the back like, man, shit, this is my time. This is where it is. Like, that's upsetting to me. Like, can we not just, like, have the white people be like, man, we're scared as shit. And have all the black guys like, hey, dog, I got this. Let me go put 9 rounds into this door.
That's a Wayans movie. I'm sure that'll be happening. Scary movie 18.
And by the way, I don't know. Does Murder listen to your show?
Who
Yes,
knows
of
what
course
Murder
he does.
Who knows?
Yeah,
what
yes, Murder does. Yes, Murder does.
I hope Murder does listen to this, because you know what? I'm gonna try to get unbooked right now. Captain America sucks.
Oh my God!
Oh, ooh,
I hope he dies.
ooh. That was just ruthless, man.
I don't know if you can actually come into the city limits now.
I'm just trying to get that match. You know he was on my list.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're
You
trying to get something.
might die.
Yes.
You might die.
About this time, I'm gonna get a message tomorrow and be like, "What'd you say?"
Well, look, Sleaze, I know our time with you is running short and stuff, man. Go ahead and give all of our fans and listeners, let them know where they can find you at via social media. And once again, remind all of our fans and listeners where you'll be at your last two shows of 2017.
Okay, so social media, you can find me at shoot name Eric Thompson, but you better not call me Eric Thompson or I'll stab you. You can find me on Indie Customs through all of our websites. I'm pretty sure I'll see them or they'll be sent my way. So if you have hate mail, don't send it to me. If you have free gifts, send them to me. I will be coming up in next week on the 22nd in Chester, South Carolina for Action Pack Wrestling. Match soon to be announced, but it's going to be a good one. And December 27th, I will be running around trying to grab as many balls as possible in Atlanta at the Marietta Event Center for a show of the year for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Hint, hint, if you want to come see me, probably get loose with me. Atlanta's where to be. And,
I like that.
I like that. Well, look, Sleaze, thanks for being a guest on the show. Thank you for being the creative push behind Indie Customs.
Thanks for providing the groceries. Thanks for providing the groceries.
Please go check out Indie Customs. Go give a shout out on the page to my fiance Kim. She works her ass off as much as possible. Like, I've seen this girl not get sleep just to finish orders because she cares that much about her product. So go show her love. Show the page love. I think we're one away from 600 likes on Facebook, which is a milestone again. And that just means we're going to be at 1,000 soon.
Well, Mr. Sleaze, thank you once again for being on the show. And we'll catch you a show of the year, man.
Oh, yeah. I'll see both of you sexy beasts there.
Are you talking about me or Huck was included in that? I'm just I thought all of that was me.
Hey,
sorry.
You better tell Huck to keep my shit off of Twitter. Hey, don't be tagging me in that stuff on Twitter, man. Don't be tagging me. You tagged me on Twitter with murder.
You said you wanted the match, man. I just made sure I went ahead and put that little quote, you know what I'm saying, on Twitter for you.
Instant heat. Jesus.
Spider-Man.
Next thing you know, he'll say Dr. Doom sucks, and we're all going to him.
But yeah, hey, have a good night, man. Huh?
Now that you say it.
Oh, no. I said nothing. CW,
do not
cut
know.
that out.
Yes, do not say that. Look, tell Kim, I know you're listening. Hey, Kim, Merry Christmas. Please, you have a good night, all right?
All right.
Bye. Mika.
Yes, literally and truly. I know what you're gonna ask me. I got hot. I got speechless. I took my pants off. Oh my god, he is sleazy. It was amazing. Legit. I took my pants off.
Oh, okay. Out of all the people that we've had on this show, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sleaze was the first guest to talk Mika those out of her pants.
Yes, it made me speechless. Again, I like to talk. I kind of do this for a living, and the man had me stuttering and speechless and out of my pants. That's amazing. That's amazing with him talking. And I've seen him in the ring a few times now. Again, I'm a newer fan, and I am a total and complete fan of Mr. Sleaze, not of just the character, but the person. Is pretty damn special, and I think everybody should be checking him out these last two shows that he's going to be at, and his 2018 is going to be absolutely fantastic. People need to get a hold of Sleaze while they can. See what I did there? Get a hold.
I don't know if he's going to have a 2018, because Murder One just commented on just replied back to that tweet that I may or may not have tweeted out saying that he said that Captain America sucks. So Sleaze might not make it to 2018.
Damn.
Anyway,
you killed Sleazy, you bastard.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He said he wanted to get a match. So don't blame me. Speaking about matches, before we got the show, before we start talking about what we got going on this weekend and stuff, big thing in professional wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they got their big Wrestle Kingdom 12 coming up January 4th. The quote-unquote double main event. The actual main event is Okada, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, versus Naito, and then you have Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. They just had a crazy press conference where actually they just had a show for the New Japan Tag Team League where Chris Jericho attacked Kenny Omega after his match and busted him open. And then during the press conference for Wrestle Kingdom, Kenny Omega got some get back and attacked Chris Jericho, during his portion of the press conference. And chaos ensued, and the highlight was like Chris Jericho threw a table and had this huge brawl and stuff. Did you get a chance to see it, Mika?
I saw it, and again, it's almost surreal to see Jericho outside of the WWE machine again. I mean, if you go back years and years and years ago to see him in WCW, his little, his little stint in Japan before. I mean, we're talking right now a Chris Jericho who is by and large a WWE product. He is a entertainer. And to see him now in New Japan, to see him with this craziness with this Kenny Omega, with this Alpha Club shirt, it is like, wow. It is fantasy booking come to life, pretty much. So, again, the time difference over in Japan and watching this stuff, trying to catch it live on New Japan World, it's well worth the lack of sleep. It is going to be well worth everything to watch this show. People say, well, Chris Jericho's old, Kenny Omega's in his prime, it won't be a good match. Jericho doesn't put on good matches. I beg to disagree. Jericho is still first and foremost a wrestler. He is an entertainer, yes, so he understands the entertainment portion, but Jericho still got some go in him, and I think that people are going to be pleasantly surprised at what we're going to see when this thing finally rolls out. So, yeah, amazing.
Yes, totally amazing. With that being said, Mika, what you got coming up this week?
This week, I am going to, I spoke earlier about the shows on Thursday night. You're going to have QT Marshall, Face-to-Face Wrestling. Face-to-Face Wrestling will have a Thursday night show. I believe it's this Thursday will be their first show. There's also WWA 4. Honestly and truly, guys, it's a toss-up. I'm either going to be at one of those two shows or in the bed sleeping, because come this Sunday, the 17th of December, in Atlanta here, we have MLA 14. Mucha Lucha Atlanta is happening. So I need to rest up because that is going to be a awesome show, and I will of course be there in the flesh along with my other tag team partner, Danny F. and Danger, and we will combine to form wrestling's cutest commentary team. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be Thursday, but definitely Sunday I shall be there at MLA 14. And then I'm going to kind of try to rest up. I got some things doing for the holidays, but the 27th is also huge. Show of the year 4. That's the climax of the year, guys, for AWE. And I will be, of course, there in the building, and everything else leading up to that is going to be great. But man, that'll be the show of the year. That'll be the kicker. So I will keep everybody informed on social media what I decide to do, whether I'm in pajamas or ringside this week.
Well, let's see. This weekend, Saturday is pretty huge, man. I'm a part of the tournament. And hold on, because I always forget. I always mess with the name of the damn city of West Virginia. Fairmont, West Virginia, for Real Shoot Wrestling. I'm in an 8-man tournament for the West Virginia Grand Championship. They have a bunch of champions from different indie wrestling companies all over West Virginia. Myself, Evolve Star, Jason Kincaid, Eric Darkstorm, Jesus Christ. I mean, the list of guys that are in this damn tournament is amazing. And then Sunday, I was thinking about taking a 10-hour drive to Atlanta to watch Mucha Lucha. But because it's like a 10, 11-hour drive on a Sunday, I have to be up early and stuff Monday morning to do some regular, bus stop dad issue things and stuff, issues, whatever you want to call it. I kind of got away from that, but I will be live and in person once again, Greensboro, North Carolina, for Firestar Pro Wrestling presents Zone 1 Wrestling. I will be in the building for that. Probably defending my Worldwide Grand Prix Championship. You know how I get down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a champion's champion. Anything else, Mika?
I think we pretty much covered a whole heck of a lot today. That's it. At least for me and my pantsless self.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this has been it's another great edition of the Wrestling Nerdcast, Cool thing is we get to talk to our friends and people that we like and some people we don't like, like Mr. Sleaze for that Captain America quote. Just kidding, Sleaze. But, we get a chance to laugh and joke, which, gives you a different look at a lot of your favorite personalities involved in the wrestling business. So make sure to follow us on Facebook at the Wrestling Nerdcast, on Twitter at WNerdPod. For myself, the AIWF Mega Heavyweight Champion, the IWA North Carolina Heavyweight Champion, the Worldwide Wrestling Grand Prix Champion. I am the Incredible Hulk, saying on behalf of my co-host, the lover of waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, the astronomer of affection, the pantsless, thanks to Mr. Sleaze, and the whore for $5 wrestling, Freak of Villas, who's one half of the world's cutest commentary team. And be sure to check it out tomorrow night on the FOW podcast on podbean.com. On behalf of our podcaster, the man that makes the legend, CW, and on behalf of all of our friends here at the AngryMarks Podcast Network. Once again, thanks to our sponsors, Indie Customs. Find them on Facebook and Twitter. This is the Wrestling Nerdcast saying, see you next week, and support indie wrestling.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.